Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for my time. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce myself? My name is Eleonora Agustin. I come from Pajajaran University, Department of Geophysics. Today, I would like to introduce about a part of my research, and the title is Identification of Electrical Conductivity of the Volcanic Soil on a Fertilizer Exposed Agriculture Field. Case study at the Parongpong Agriculture Field, West Java. Me with my teams, Tia Rosdianti, Dini Fitriani, Kartika Hajarkiana, Anan Nurbaiti, Amir, Mimin Irianti, Nanang Dwi Arti, Sofia Janatul Fajar, and Wahyu Yusri Kutoba. This is our collaboration from three institutes, from Pajajaran University, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and okay. First of all, I want to introduce what I do with my research. The increasing agricultural production requires additional additive sustained to soil in the form of fertilizer to make some of additional of residue from agriculture field. The addition of inorganic fertilizer into soil make a contamination due to excessive use. The study was conducted in Parongpong farming area, a large agriculture production center in West Bandung area, Ruswandi in 2007. And Parongpong Lembang is one of the areas used for agriculture land of short-lived crops. The identification electrical properties of soil were conducted using a geophysical method called a HUMA-EC technology. It is more efficient than the chemical measurement in indicating contaminated area. Objective to obtain the soil characteristic electrical conductivity value. What is a volcanic soil? Volcanic soil is from the weathering of volcanic rocks, either from stone that has been frozen or from volcano ash. The soil tuff occurred from volcanic ash is a very fertile. One type of the volcanic soil is the andosol soil. Andosol soil is brownish red to dark black color. So andosol soil is perfect for agriculture and planting area. One area in West Java which has abundant andosol soil in agricultural land is in Lembang, Bandung. I believe that this is known about Lembang. So according to Ajiman 210, she told about the volcanic soil of Merapi and Singgalang volcano were developed from volcanic ash and have a high fertility rate than others area. So the electrical conductivity is the ability of material to conduct of flow electrical current, which is from agriculture, professionally. Stop setan. Dia udah dimatiin. Kenapa dia masih hidup? Ted. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Miss Mutia. My video is distract, I think.
Okay, I get it. So, may I continue to the live discussion, Dr. Eleonora?
Okay, of course.
Yes.
Doctor.
Yeah. Is there any question for Dr. Eleonora, please, from the audiences? Please raise your hand, and we will spin out your video. Okay, if there are no question, then the question is, what is the application of this volcanic salt in physics for the society?
What I research is for the farmer area using physics equipment or some physics equation. We are using electrical conductivity. As we know, electrical conductivity is the same with the resistivity. The the part of our study in electrical magnetism. I think we are so this is we are trying to know about which area have a more residue from fertilizer. So we try to make some equipment. The name is Huma Eche. So we can find where is the unfertile area. This is
Unfertile area. Okay.
yeah.
So from the conclusion, what is the area? Where is it? So you can do a mapping which
Oh yeah.
area is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
If we have a high resistivity, so we can know is this the unfertilized area. Indicate by high resistivity. It means
Okay.
a low electrical conductivity.
Laura. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Anora. Is there any other question? Otherwise, I will continue to the other participants.
I'm so sorry with my video.
Never mind.
Much, Dr. Mutia.
Thank you, Dr. Anora. Is there any question? No? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Eleonora. And we may continue to the second finalist, which is Jaya Murjaya and ABS 19. The title is Mechanic Response and Earthquake Activity on Banda Block Tectonic Setting, Case Study Ambon Earthquake, September 26, 2019.
I will present our paper with the topic mechanical response and earthquake activity on the Banda Block tectonic setting. And we take the case study Ambon earthquake on the September 26, 2009. This abstract my paper that the Ambon earthquake with the moment magnitude 6.5 or the moment seismic about 6.1 H5 times 10 power 25 centimeter occur on the September 26, 2019 has the similar location with the earthquake on September 9, 1932. Therefore, we consider that the earthquake has a return period about 87 years. Along the interseismic period, we calculate of the estimation of the stress accumulation related with the earthquake MW 6.5. The past through the physical basic approximations and scaling law of the earthquake, we found the length of the pole around 19 kilometers and the width of the pole about 15 kilometers and displacement rate about 46 until 47 centimeters. Then using the value of the moment seismic length of pole and width of the pole and the return period, we calculate the estimation of the static stress drop about 9.21 spar and slip rate around 8 until the 9 millimeter per year, and the strain rate about 4.5 times 10 power minus 15 per second, and the static stress column more than 1 Pascal. Two earthquakes which are trigger of the tsunami occur on January 29, 2004 with the moment magnitude 6.7, and the earthquake on the March 14, 2006 with the moment magnitude 6.7. It happens in the similar tectonic regime and adjacent with the Ambon earthquake magnitude 6.5 on September 2019. Therefore, furthermore, we make the estimation of the return period of the both earthquake and result about 93 years and 117 years respectively. And here the tectonics and the seismotectonics map in the Banda block and its vicinity around the earthquake September 2019. The left map the tectonic background in the Banda block, the tectonic evolutions map of the North Serams basins Indonesia is the original map by the Jugang et al. 2016. And here we plot the three significant earthquakes epicenter. Their earthquake 2019 located in around the Kawa strike slip fault, and the others in the Buru strike slip faults. It is clear in the map tectonics map background. And the right map. Here, this is the seismotectonic map in the Banda block. The seismotectonic map show the focal mechanism of the earthquake distribution in the Banda block area and its vicinity. And here the data of the earthquakes around the earthquake September 2019. The last three earthquakes occur near the earthquake on September 2019. The earthquake, the number 1 in the table, and the number 4, occur in the similar locations around in the Kawa strike slip fault. And the next we try to calculate the length of fault, the rupture area, and displacements using the well and Coppersmith formula, and also we calculate the estimation of the static stress drop of the Banda earthquake September 2009 so with formula by the Kanamori 1975. And the results, we check my result about the static stress drop with we put in the relations between rupture surface and the moment seismic using the graph from the Kanamori 1994, and so that the red circle in the figure indicate the static stress drop or the Ambon or the earthquake, and it is small the small the static stress drop is less than the 10 bar, and this result is still the confidence with this graph. And so the next we try to check with the relations between the fault length and seismic moment of the shallow Ambon earthquake September 2019, and it is the compare with the other earthquakes from the Kanamori Island graph and so on, and the result is still confidence too. And the next, we try to explain about the result of the static stress column analytics. And static stress column the zero stress plus the normal stress the times the friction coefficient. The result of the static stress columns about 1 Pascal, green 1 Pascal, and using the return period and the static stress drop and sum the rigidity of the earth around the 3 times 10 power 11 dyne per centimeter square, we find the estimation of the strain rate value for the rocks properties around the epicenter. We results the strain rate about the 5 times 10 power minus 15 per second. And the conclusions in my paper. The Ambon earthquake, which happens on September with a magnitude 6.5 and the moment seismic 6.185 times 10 power 25 centimeter in the Kawa strike slip blocks area, like the figure 1, and it has the aftershocks more than the 1,000 events along the 10th day, and using the scaling law approximation and physical approach to analysis several mechanics response parameter. Hence, we conclude such as the one. Using well and Coppersmith formula, we found the fault length around 18th until the 19th kilometer, and width of the pole about the 15th kilometer, and displacements about 46 until the 47 centimeter. The Ambon's earthquake on the September 26, 2019 occurred in the similar location with the Ambon earthquake on the September 1932. Repairing that sports events, we consider that the return period this earthquake about 87 years, with using parameter period of the moment seismic and fault length with fault and displacement and the factor slips fault. We found the static stress drop value for the Ambon earthquake about 9.2 bar. This static stress drop is clustered as the small static stress drop. And the next, the repairing to the return period about 87 years. And by using the physical basic approach, we estimate the strain rate values about 4.5 times 10 power minus 15 per second, and the strike slip around 8 until the 9 millimeter per year. The strain rate value is still confidence if the compare the strain rate value for the Sumatra zones Murjaya et al. 2011 and part of the Indian Ocean zone by the Gerbaul 2000. The last, with using the physical basic approach above parameter and also Young's modulus for the Earth, the estimation of the return period of the Buru earthquake in the Buru strike slip on March 14, 2006, and Buru earthquake on the January 29, 2006. Is about the return period is about 93 years and 117 years respectively. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. But I just checked the attendee that Mr. Jaya Murjaya is not here, I guess. Is there any representative of ABS 19 here? Okay, is there no person here, representative of ABS 19, then we may continue to the other attendees. Okay, thank you. And the third finalist is Rido Hanan Asrawi, ABS 48. The title is Delineation of Geothermal Field Reservoir Zone Beta based on Magnetic and Magnetoluric 3D Inversion. Let me see the video.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rido Hanan Asrawi. I will be present my research about delineation of geothermal field reservoir zone beta based on magnetic and magnetotelluric 3D inversion. This is my outline, introduction, research method, result and discussion, and conclusion. Introduction. geothermal as one of the alternative energy sources that are renewable and environmentally friendly. The development of geothermal, that 5 stage: the primary exploration, further exploration, drilling exploration, feasibility study, and exploitation or production. Exploration stage is the most important stage in the development of geothermal field because it will determine a percentage of success in drilling or exploitation stage. And this areas of research at West Sumatra. The Beta geothermal field is located 40 kilometers from Padang, West Sumatra, located in the mountainous stratovolcano area at an altitude of 2,500 meters after sea level. In this geothermal field, there are several manifestations in the form of liquid and gas, with the total manifestation of hot water totaling is 19 samples, cold water to sample, and gas to sample. The manifestation of hot water has the hottest temperature of 95 Celsius, and the manifestation of gas in the form of fumarole have temperature of 95 Celsius and 69 Celsius. In this research, I will base on 2 methods. The first method is MT and the second method is geomagnetic. MT, or magnetotelluric, will show the distribution of resistivity. Resistivity distribution of subsurface rock, where this research is looking for rock with low resistivity. The low resistivity of rock associated with cap rock or clay cap. In development of geothermal, the maximum value of low resistivity is 10 ohm meters. And the second method is geomagnetic. Magnetic method will show the magnetization of subsurface rock. The magnetization of rock occurs to heat so that the magnetism of a rock becomes small. This shows the position of the heat source in this study area. Result and discussion. Distribution of manifestation. 2 fumarole. 2 fumarole in this position. Okay, and 19 hot water. Distribution of 19 hot water according to geological structure. This is geological structure. Yes. Okay. Hot water according to the structure of structural fault, and 2 cold water. This is cold water. The pattern of alignment and fault generally trending northwest, southeast follow the general pattern of the large fault of Sumatra, and partly trending northeast to southeast. Based on elevation. Based on elevation, the distribution of low resistivity has similarity of geological structure. When we notice the distribution of low resistivity thickening to the northwest, okay? This is thickening to the northwest. After the valley elevation, I made 5 sections based on fault structure that, if observed, are similar to gutter. In general, all sections indicate a dome shape of low resistivity layer. that possible cap rock zone overlay the reservoir below the low resistivity anomaly layer. And this section, section AB, I want to see the shape of cap rock, and the result are cap rock forming a dome, so the possibility of forming a reservoir. Okay. This is dome cap rock. Maybe this is a reservoir. It's green zone. Okay. Now the magnetic method. The value of minus 350 nanotesla to minus 50 nanotesla can be seen in the southern region, namely the area of interest. This area of interest. This area has a low value of the magnetization rock, minus 350 nanotesla to minus 50 Tesla, and this area has the 2 fumarole. Okay. It's negative. The negative anomaly value indicate the hydrothermal demagnetization of rock in this area. Okay. Correlation of the result of magnetic and empty inversion data processing on line A, B, show the correlation of this data. Low magnetic anomaly value, minus 350 nanotesla to minus 100 nanotesla, are as far as 4,100 meters, and at this point, and have low resistivity value. Okay, and if we focus this part, we can see the geothermal system. Okay, maybe this is a heat source. Okay, because low value of the magnetization rock. Maybe this is a reservoir, and this is cap rock or clay cap. Okay. The battlefield geothermal system could be associated with volcanic or volcanic activity based on the presence of fumarole and acidic hot water manifestation found in high topography or around the area of interest, and manifestation with neutral or of hydrogen at low topography. The geothermal system is also associated with the graben structural system, caused the distribution of the hood layer, and the appearance of geothermal manifestation is influenced by the fault system that from the graben pattern. The outflow from the geothermal system is heading north in the direction of the hot or warm manifestation path that is controlled by the main or graben structure pattern. Outflow manifestation are characterized by a high content bicarbonate. This is my conceptual model based on 2 data, magnetic method and magnetotelluric method, or MT. Maybe this is a heat source, this is a reservoir, and this is clay cap. And this is upflow, and this is outflow. Why this is upflow? Because this area has a low value of the magnetic, and has a low resistivity. And this is a fumarole. Okay, the conclusion. The geothermal system is a the magnetization zone of the beta geothermal field is located around the south, which extend to the north. Low magnetic anomaly value negative 215 nanotesla to negative minus 150 nanotesla correlate with the distribution of resistivity value around 10 ohm meters. So it can be concluded that the magnetization zone indicate the reservoir zone associated of base of clay cap. Based on the analysis of liquid geochemistry, show that the salt manifestation are in the upflow zone, while not hot water manifestation are in the outflow zone with an estimate temperature in the beta geothermal field at least 220 Celsius. Furthermore, the result of the analysis of conceptual model are indication of the prospect area, and the drilling zone is recommended in the upflow area around the complex manifestation. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dr. Rido is here. Okay, so we may continue to a live discussion. Do you have any question? Please raise your hand. Is there any question? Okay, Dr. Esmar Budi, please.
Ya, thank you Bu Mutia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dr. Rido, apa kabar? How are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine.
Yeah.
Mr. Esmar.
Yeah, I have one question about your study. So you mentioned you use two methods, correct? Magnetic. Two methods, correct?
In this study, I have 3 or 4 methods: gravity, geochemistry, magnetotelluric, and geomagnetic, Mister.
Oh yeah, all right. 4 methods. So based on your study result, which method that the best for your study?
Yeah.
Which method the best method?
Oh, best method in this case is 2 methods, MT and magnetic.
Why?
Because if MT, can I speak Indonesia? Okay, kenapa menggunakan 2 ini? Karena yang MT sendiri itu setelah saya baca dari berbagai literatur itu untuk cukup powerful untuk menentukan low resistivity pada jenis batuan tertentu. Karena di geothermal sendiri kita mencari sistem, di mana sistem itu harus ada heat source, reservoir, dan clay cap. Nah, clay cap di sini ada hubungannya, memiliki hubungan erat dengan low resistivity, yaitu dan bisa kita gunakan MT di sini. Itu, Pak. Untuk magnetik sendiri, tadi kita mencari nilai magnetik yang sangat rendah, di mana itu menentukan heat source. Maybe heat source di situ. Gitu, Pak.
Yeah, thank you very much for the explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, success.
You're welcome. Amin, amin. Thank you, Minister.
Amin.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Esmar Budi. We have 30 seconds actually. I have a question for you. So there are 2 cold water source and there are 19 water source. Is this cold water will influence the result of your measurement to the rock demagnetization is what?
Yeah.
Okay. In short answer, please.
Cold water have a relationship about outflow.
Okay.
In this case, kita menentukan outflow dan upflow di situ. Ketika di situ ada 2 air dingin,
to cold water, disitulah mungkin zona outflow. Dalam nantinya ketika proses eksplorasi, daerah itu ya jangan dieksplor untuk drilling. Kenapa? Karena tidak ada temperatur, even tidak ada temperatur, maybe tidak ada juga pressure di situ. Mungkin itu kenapa di situ ada 2 air dingin di situ, dan memang agak sedikit aneh juga, di mana di situ juga posisinya ada di sedikit ke puncak gunung di situ sih.
Yeah.
Gitu.
Okay, I get your point. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Dr. Rido.
Welcome,
See
Dr.
you
Mutia.
another occasion.
Okay, sorry.
That's fine. Thank you
Okay.
very much, and we may
Welcome.
continue to the other attendee. We have the 4th one, Dr. Adamul Istiqomah. The title is Comparative Analysis of NOAA 11, a VHRR land surface temperature algorithm, and less LST MODIS data. Please, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adamul Istiqomah. I will present our research. Was connected with Mr. Caca Kustana, Mr. Tris Midianto, Mr. Rishanto, and Mr. Agung Haji Saputro about comparative analysis of NOAA 11 or FHRR land surface temperature algorithm and LST MODIS data. Introductions. The first background is land surface temperature, or LST. LST is one of the key parameters of energy balance on the Earth's surface. It is a major climatological variable containing physical properties of surface objects, such as emissivity, specific heat capacity, and thermal conductivity. The second one is the LST empirical algorithm. Based on research entitled Development and Validations of Algorithm for LST Measurement from NOAA 11 or FVHRR satellite data in Western Australia by Rustana and Tris Midianto in 2019. This research was to analyze the comparisons of NOAA 11 or FVHRR LST algorithm and MODIS LST data. The LST algorithm of FVHRR on NOAA developed by Rustana. This is the first and the second order of LST empirical algorithm. It was using a split window method of thermal infrared channel 4 and 5, which was validated using Australian LST ground measurement. The algorithm will be applied to the MODIS thermal infrared of channels 31 and 32 data in order to determine LST. Experimental method. MODIS data. MODIS, or moderate resolution imaging spectral diameter sensor, has 36 wavelength scales. It is 31 and 32 of brightness temperature by MODIS data. Source of satellite imagery for retrieving data was provided by Lapan satellite receiver in MODIS catalog lapan.co.id and internal data of Lapan satellite receiver from Pekayun, Jakarta. The data were analyzed by Python 3.6, Python that used to display the value of MODIS land surface temperature, and developed LST algorithm measurement for the first and second order of developed LST algorithm. Whereas the Origin Pro 9.0 software was used to find the best fit between both MODIS and the developed LST algorithm measurement, root mean square errors, or RMSE, correlation, and R-squared values. Results and discussions. The first figure are the spatial images of A, Aqua MODIS LST, and B, the first order regression of developed LST algorithm, and C, the second order regression of developed LST algorithm. The following figure 1, A, B, and C are the spatial images of both the LST models, and the developed LST algorithm measurement range from 280 to 320 Kelvin or 27 to 47 degrees Celsius. Thus, the LST spatial images identify the differences covered between both the LST models and the first and second order regression and develop LST algorithm measurement. It means that to develop LST algorithm will be applied by using MODIS data of thermal infrared channel 31 and 32 to determine LST as one of the environment indicators. The second factor is the best correlation of LST MODIS and the first order regression of developed LST algorithm. And in below, the best fit correlation indicators has 131 point measurement data with root mean square errors of about 1.65 and R squares of about 0.87. The third figure is the best correlation of LST MODIS and the second order regression of developed LST algorithm. In below is the best fit correlation indicators has 131 points measurement data with root mean square errors of about 1.29 and R squares of about 0.92. The bias of measurement between of LST MODIS and the first and second order regression of developed algorithm may be likely due to differences in the wavelength range of thermal infrared channel used between the NOAA 11 or AVHRR satellites, namely channel 4 of about 10.5 to 11.5 micrometers and channel 5 of about 11.5 to 12.5 micrometers, and Aquam MODIS satellite of channel 31 of about 10.7 to 11.2 micrometers and 32 11.7 to 12.2 micrometers. Conclusions. The first and the second order regression of developed LST algorithm can be applied using MODIS data in determining LST in the Indonesia area. It is recommended to validate the developed LST algorithm by using an in situ measurement. These are our references. Thank you. So,
Okay, thank you. Dr. Adamu is here, so we can continue with our live discussion. Is there a question for Dr. Adamu? Would you like to raise your hand, please? Nobody? Okay, let me ask you a question. It's a simple one. What is the application of your research in the society?
This can be applied the geothermal and geoinformations about research, and this is one parameters, key parameters of the on Earth, because the land surface temperature is used to analyze this everything. It's like a vegetations, it's like a geolocations. It's more on the Earth. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice answer. Do you have any other question, attendee? If there is no question, then thank you, Dr. Adamu. Nice.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Welcome, my pleasure. Okay, let's continue to the following other participants. ABS 115, 128, Renando Putra Wijaya. The title is Crystal Structure and Optical Properties of Oxygen Definisi Boron Titanite, prepared by Sol-Gel method.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Renanto Putra Wijaya, and I would like to presenting my paper about crystal structure and optical properties of oxygen deficiency of barium titanate prepared by Sol-Gel method. Soldier road has been used to prepare oxygen deficiency of BTO. The gel was intermediate heated at 150 degrees and followed by heated at temperature 1000 degrees for various time under vacuum condition. The final powder was characterized with X-ray diffraction and UV visible. Read field refinement software were used to refine XRD data, and also for the set occupancy for oxygen atom showed less than 1. It means BTO obtained as a non-stoichiometry, the deficiency in atom oxygen. An electrochemical catalyst has had a remarkable function, such as energy for storage system, and for the electrocatalysis became an active OER, HER, and OOR. And for this research was concentrated for OER, oxygen evolution reaction. The most favored TMO to conduct OER is iridium oxide due to its stability when it will be implemented in a wide scale. But that was the problem was faced. Started from the price and abundance in nature. Then perovskite emerged as a promising material due to its abundance, affordable, more stable, easy synthesized, eco-friendly, and more stable at alkaline solution. Then barium titanate, oxygen deficiency, or known as BDO, as an oxygen-reducing agent, show a higher activity and compared to iridium oxide at the lower onset potential. BTO is substance which losing its oxygen while processing with high temperature at a certain pressure and leaving in oxygen vacancies along the surface, then become an active species to enhance oxidation and reduction reaction. Then for BTO, perovskite oxide in general, the general configuration was ABOX. A is a rare earth metal or alkaline earth metal, or had a commonly large scale of atom and more electropositive instead of the B, because B is a metal transition with commonly small scale of atom and more electronegative. In this work, we studied the effect of sintering period against to form band gap as an initial alert to catalytic activity, since it is made a correlation by reducing the over potential. Basically, we are using barium titanate and titanium isopropoxide, which stirred and heated with 1000 degrees with variation of sintering period. And for the result and discussion, the first is TGA and the SG. The first phase, in general, we are separate into 3 phases. The first is obtained from 40 to 300 degrees, which is losing 25% of its weight. And the second phase were occurred at 300 to 425 Celsius degrees by losing 10% of its weight. Then the last third phase was occurred from 425 to 500 Celsius degrees by losing 50% of its weight. The role of synthesized BDO was initiated by losing their organic compound because it has a lower boiling point. It is shown by the SG curve declining fastly for losing weight. Then the TGA showed the peak and knees at the beginning related to endotherm and exotherm reaction. Then the second phase was started with curve sloping, and it is identified as a starting point decomposition of barium and titanate precursor as an initiation of synthesis of barium titanate, then followed by changing geostructure. Then the third phase was started with a huge consumption of heat from surrounding, showed by TGA curve, and it was determined as a formation phase of barium titanate, followed by deformation of carbonate phase that formed at the previous phase. Then after the third phase, we suggest it a phase when oxygen from barium titanate structure be attracted to environment. Then for XRD, The crystal structure is a tetragonal with characteristic A parameter is equal to B but not equal to C. Then the crystallite size was decreased tremendously as an effect of vacuum condition, as we see for the value from 1448 nanometers, it was decreased to 90.5 nanometer at the first sample. Then for the next sample, it was increased due to the growth crystal was started. Then the strength was observed increase as a function of releasing oxygen from BTO structure. For infrared, Fourier transform infrared, as known as FTIR, was performed to understand for any remain organic compound that emerged as a spectrum along with the wave number. A broad peak has emerged as 1408, which belongs to CH, and also an observable peak at 1749, which belongs to C double bond O. The emergence of data indicates that some minor organic substance still remain within the sample, which suggests it is happened due to some carbonate phase that formed at early step of formation of barium titanate is unable to decompose due to steric obstacle when the crystal barium titanate is started to form. Then for UV visible, there is any correlation between the optical band gap against the variation, because the lowest showed by BTO2 through 3.235 electron volt, and the highest showed by BTO3 sample through 3.272 electron volt. The shifting of optical band gap strongly related to oxygen vacancies with optimum condition. Then for the conclusion, in this work, we are successfully to synthesize barium titanate oxygen deficiency through Sol-Gel method. Then the characterization has been conducted by performing TGA, DSG, FTIR, XRD, and UV-Vis. The main point is there is any correlation from variation of sintering duration against to the structure. And we would like to thank the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education of Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Renanto Putra is here. Is there any question?
Yes.
Yes, please. Dr. Esmar, you are driving at the moment.
Yeah, because I'm in the middle of journey.
Oh, okay. Please, Dr. Esmar, would you like to unmute your microphone? Dr. Esmar, you have to unmute your microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mutia. Sorry for the mute voice. So I have one question to the presenter. So my question is, what the optimum sintering temperature in your study in this case? And based on what? Based on the crystal structure or based on the optical properties?
To answer the question, actually, this draft paper is only part of my big research. But because there is some data that not be shown from this presentation, but if we talk about the best or the most optimum sintering, we still undergoing for that, because there is some parameters that need to be sure, but the way to sure the optimum, we are using cyclic photogrammetry measurement by potentiostat, because at that point we can understand the exchange current density against the given potential. As long my research until now, the best condition for sintering duration is about 4 hours because it is in the middle. Because when the sintering duration is too long, it makes some damage in the surface of materials. But if it's too short, it's still the oxygen vacancies need to still in the lower ratio if we give a lower sintering duration. So if to answer, we are using cyclic voltammetry to understand how is the OER activity, and for the best so far is about 4 hours because it is in the middle of variation that we conducted.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Esmar. Is there any other question? We have 5 minutes left here for Dr. Renanto. Please raise your hand. Okay, no question? Then safe drive for Mr. Renanto.
Yeah, it's thank you. For Dr. Mutia, I would like to disclaimer something.
Yeah.
At the keynote speaker 3, because I'm in the middle of journey, I cannot get the better connection. So when the link to form to be filled emerged, I lost the connection because until now I'm still in the middle of journey. So, but when I contact to the committee, he is still contact to supervisor. So, yeah, it was my condition, yeah, because in the middle of journey. But I want to tell my condition because at the keynote speaker 3, I did not fill the attend form. So I want to share my condition.
Okay, do not worry because I will write or note your attendance here. So the certificate will be yours, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Okay, thank you, Dr. Renanto. Yeah, let's go. We are going to the following attendee speaker. This is Mr. Agung Aji Saputro, IBS 130. The title is Haze Detection Using Brightness Temperature of MODIS Infrared Channel Data. Okay.
Everyone, today I will present my research with Mr. Rustana, myself, Agung Aji Saputro, Mr. Tismidianto, Mr. Rishanto, and Mrs. Istikana, entitled Haze Detection Using Brightness Temperature of MODIS Infrared Channel Data, thanks to cooperation between State University of Jakarta and National Institute of Aeronautics and Space, LAPAN. Verifier in Indonesia are now seen as regional and global disaster signs causes the impact that have spread out to neighboring countries. Combustion gases, i.e. carbon dioxide, result from forest fire would be emitted to the atmosphere and potentially causes global warming. It could boost the probability of extreme weather. However, remotely sent satellite imagery is one of a variety of technologies used to obtain information related to the Earth's resource and environment, including the weather conditions that occur. The remotely sent satellite imagery phenomena of the occurrence of forest fire are needed, especially for the aviation world, in order to avoid undesirable things regarding safety ration. The recent methodology used is to process MODIS 1 level data with an extension HiDF format. HiDF, which is obtained from the set of the National Institute of Aeronautics and Space, or LAPAN, and National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, to level 2 data, which has information on the surface temperature. In this case, the MODIS data level 1 will be processed on this research applying channel 22 23, 31, and 32. Data on channel 22, 23, 31, and 32 were extracted from MODIS data files with a spatial resolution of 100 square meter. Feature A show the flowchart program for LAPAN data verification and NASA data, while figure B shows the flowchart program to detect fog and smoke from satellite imagery. Furthermore, pattern 3.764-bit software were used for showing the result of spatial imagery, and spatial result obtained the majority that can be known the fog and cloud contact. Next. Based on the journal source title, a method for the spectral analysis and identification of fog has and the storm using MODIS data, there was some difference between NASA and LAPAN data, in which NASA data was not covering long latitude compared with LAPAN data due to the NASA use of the radiant value instead of brightness temperature T31 and T32 as LAPAN data. Generally, both data show similar spatial imagery for file data that were taken at the date and times. The above result also indicate the Planck constant formula corresponding to the verification result based on the radiant value being the temperature value of the brightness. This result indicates that the Planck formula could be used to verify and determine the brightness temperature. Based on the sensor of 22 and 23 that shown respectively the value of brightness temperature of T22 and T23 taken on July 15 up to 16, 2018 and August 6 up to 7, 2019, where the criteria of basic surface 3 up to 11 Kelvin, fog 3 up to 11 Kelvin, sunstorm 4 up to 11 Kelvin, and smoke 9 up to 12 Kelvin. The result indicated that there were not significantly different between both data taken on 15 and 16 July 2018. Temperature scale of 3 up to 11 Kelvin identify the alignment between the base surface, fog and storm, sandstorm, and smoke. However, the yellow color temperature scale of 11 up to 12 Kelvin that belong to the category of smoke spread out from the east, west, and north. Meanwhile, on imagery data on 6 and 7 August 2019, so there was a contact between the base surface, fog, sandstorm, and smoke. While the yellow color temperature scale of 11 up to 12 Kelvin identifies smoke that spread out from the east, west, and north data of August 7. The color will spread out and tend to randomly be scattered. Furthermore, smoke category was scattered or temperature scale of 11 up to 12 Kelvin. Moreover, based on the band sensor of 31 and 32 that respectively indicated the brightness temperature of T31 and T32 taken on July 15 and 16, 2018, as well as August 6 and 7, 2019, with the criteria of sunstorm negative 3.7 up to negative 1 Kelvin, basic surface negative 1 up to 0.3 Kelvin, smoke negative 0.2 up to 0.6 Kelvin, fog negative 0.1 up to 1 Kelvin, and cloud negative 0.1 up to 2.3 Kelvin. The imagery data were taken on July 15 and 16, 2018, indicated the majority of spatial imagery showing the contact of the fog and cloud of a yellow color scale of 1 up to 2.3 Kelvin, while the green color scale of 0.6 up to 1.0 Kelvin, indicate the alignment of fog and smoke which was widely scattered in the weather area. L cloud be shown in the visitor manual. Data taken on August 6 and 7, 2019 identified the majority contact of the fog and cloud with yellow color scale of 1 up to 2.3 Kelvin, whereas green color scale of 0.6 up to 1.0 Kelvin. Identify the alignment of fog and smoke. Specifically, that imagery data was taken on August 6, 2019. So the dark green color was scattered in the southern water of Java Island, as indicated in the following dates picture. Okay, conclusion. There are the difference between the imagery data collected by LAPAN and NASA. The LAPAN imagery data provide measurement of brightness temperature of T32, T33, T31, and T32, whereas NASA's imagery data was in radian value, which must firstly be converted into brightness temperature by applying the Planck formula. However, the analysis data indicated generalization between both the LAPAN and NASA. However, results obtained by using the provided application software could be used to detect fog and smoke using band sensor of 22, 23, 31, and 32. Further validation would be necessary to really understand that the remote sense satellite imagery could be utilized by using brightness temperature. This is my reference, and thank you for watching my presentation. Keep the condition in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Now let's continue to the live discussion. Dr. Agung is here. Is there any question? Please raise your hand or you may write your question on the chat box. Okay. No question, then I will ask you a question. How is to split the image noise and the haze? And the second question, how to demonstrate that your detection is valid?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Yeah. One.
Okay. You have an image. The image should somehow there will be a noise there. So how to split the haze and the noise in the image?
Okay. My special image from programming Python 3.7 from LAPAN data and NASA data. Yes.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. And how to demonstrate that your data, your detection is valid?
My data is maybe not yet valid because must be the validation from hotspot and the data from BMKG. It's not yet my data. It's Mrs.
Okay, it's not conducted yet. Okay. Thank you,
I'm
Dr.
sorry,
Agung.
Miss. Yes.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good. Is there any other question? Please raise your hand. We still have 5 minutes left here for Dr. Agung. No question? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Agung. It's
Thank
nice
you,
to meet you.
Mrs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we may continue to the 7 panelists. Dr. Victor Cristianto, ABS 134. The title is An Explanation of Sedna Orbit from Condensed Matter or Superconductor Model of the Solar System, a New Perspective of TNOs.
Morning, everyone. My name is Yunita Umniati from Swiss German University. Together with I are Victor Cristianto from Malang Institute of Agriculture and Florentin Smaradanke from New Mexico University. We will present our research with the title of An Explanation of Sedna Orbit from Condensed Matter or Superconductor Model of the Solar System, a New Perspective of TNOs. Every once in a while, cosmology and astronomy revelations have opened our eyes that the universe is substantially more entangled than what it appeared in 100 to 100 years prior. The problems we have here are: three laws of Newton cannot properly explain the latest astrophysical phenomena, for example, TNOs and KBO. And then the classical solar approach needs to consider analogies with the theory of quantum mechanics, especially in explaining the Titius-Bode rule. Here we present Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rule for planetary orbit distances, which result in a good quantitative description of planetary orbit distance in the solar system. We develop a mathematical model, then compare with the supporting evidence. First of all, let us point out some motivations for utilization of Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rules. First, the need correspondence between Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rules and topological quantization as found in superfluidity. Second, there is need correspondence between Bogoliubov, the genus, and generalized Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization can be applied to large-scale systems like solar system. Here we also suggest another alternative approach, such as Ellenberger equation, which reduces to scalar model of Riccati equation. As our result, the quantization of circulation for non-relativistic superfluid is given by equation 1, that closed integral VdR equal to n h bar over ms. Here n represent winding number, h bar reduces Planck constant, and ms represents superfluid particle mass. The total number of vortices is given by equation 2, that n equal to omega times 2v r square m over h bar. And based on equation 2, Sivaran and Arun are able to give an estimate of the number of galaxies in the universe, along with an estimate of the number of stars in a galaxy. However, they do not give explanation between the quantization of circulation and the quantization of angular momentum. Furthermore, it was suggested that Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rules can yield an explanation of planetary orbit distances of the solar system and exoplanets. Here we begin with Bohr-Sommerfeld's conjuncture of quantization of angular momentum. As we know, for the wave function to be well-defined and unique, the momenta must satisfy Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization condition, just like in equation 3, closed integral pdx equal to 2v and h bar. This is for any closed classical orbit gamma. For the free particle of unit mass on the unit sphere, the left-hand side can be written as integral from 0 until t v squared d tau equal to omega squared t equal to 2v omega. Here t is a period of the orbit. If the quantization rule amounts to quantization of the rotation frequency, the angular momentum omega equal to nh bar. Then we can write the force balance relation of Newton's equation of motion, just like in equation 5, capital G capital mm over r squared equal to m v squared over r. Using Bohr-Sommerfeld's hypothesis of quantization of angular momentum, a new constant g was introduced, like in equation 6, mvr equal to mg over 2v. Just like in the elementary Bohr theory, as before Schrödinger, this pair of equations yield now simple solution for the orbit radius for any quantum number of the form r equal to n square g square over 4v square capital G capital M m square, or r equal to n square capital G capital M over v0 square. Here r represent orbit radii, semi-major axis, and here is quantum number, capital G here is Newton gravitation constant, and then capital M here is mass of the nucleus of orbit. V0 here is specific velocity, and then can be written as V0 equal to 2v over G capital M times M. Interestingly, we can remark here that equation 7b here is exactly the same with what is obtained by Noether using his Schrödinger-Newton formula. Therefore, here we can verify that the result is the same. Either one uses Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rule of Schrödinger-Newton equation. The applicability of equation 7b includes that one can predict new exoplanets, such as extrasolar planets, with remarkable result. Therefore, one can find a neat correspondence between Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization rules and motion of quantized vortices in condensed matter system, especially in superfluid helium. Here we propose a conjecture that superfluid vortices quantization rules also provide a good description for the planetary orbits in our solar system. An idea that given the chemistry composition of Jovian planets are different from inner planets began around 15 years ago, therefore it is like both series of planets have different origin. By assuming inner planets orbit have different quantum number from Jovian planets, here by using this square difference method in order to seek the most optimal straight line for Jovian planets orbits in a different quantum number. And then based on Skopol, he said that a new parametrization of the Ellenberger equation of superconductivity in terms of the solution to a scalar differential equation of the Riccati type is introduced. It is found that the quasi-classical propagator, and in particular the local density of states, may be reconstructed without explicit knowledge of any eigenfunction and eigenvalues by solving a simple initial value problem for the linearized Bogoliubov-Duguenz equation. The Riccati parametrization of the quasi-classical propagator leads to a stable and fast numerical method to solve the Ellenberger equation. Therefore, it appears that we can utilize Ellenberger equation, which is an alternative to Bogoliubov-Duguenz equation for description of superconductors. According to Skopol, the Ellenberger reduces to Riccati equation 9 here, which after some steps, it will yield a system of coupled Riccati ordinary differential equations. Interestingly, it can be shown that angular momentum conservation combined with power law potential can be recast into a Riccati ODE, like in equation 10. Therefore, our hypothesis is that such a Riccati ODE may be linked to scalar Riccati ODE as a reduction to Ellenberger equation. In retrospect, we can recall the fact that there is a known pioneer anomaly which can be interpreted as an anomalous scalar acceleration after the Pioneer spacecraft enters the Jupiter's orbit anon. Therefore, it can be interpreted as a possible indicator of the existence of scalar effect of Riccati ODE. We also have the supporting evidence here that pairing of Pluto-Charon and other TNOs KBOs seems to be attributed to the BCS or Bogoliubov-Duguenz pairing condition, pointing to low temperature physics model of solar system. And then by Prof. Oliver Kemenuel, he said that measurements are reviewed showing that the interior of the sun, the inner planets, and ordinary meteorites consist mostly of the same elements. Thus, results do not support the standard solar model. And then Manuel also said that the present magnetic fields are probably deep-seated remnant of very ancient origin. This could have been generated from two mechanisms: Bose-Einstein condensation of iron-rich zero-spin material into a rotating superfluid superconductor surrounding the solar core, and or superfluidity and quantized vortices in nucleon paired fermion at the core. Other hint for physical evidence of superconductor or superfluidity nature of solar system may be found in icy dwarf nature of some planetoid and other TNOs object and other object beyond Kuiper belt. And then some literatures argue that G1.9 is remnant of supernova. Other argues that G1.9 cannot be supernova. Instead, it is more plausible to argue that 1.9 is brown dwarf star. As our conclusion here, that Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization condition can be linked to Bogoliubov-Duguenz equations. And then Bohr-Sommerfeld quantization can be linked to large-scale structure quantization, such as our solar system. And then there is an object dubbed as G1.9, which was observed around 60 until 66 astronomical unit around Pluto or Kuiper belt, which may be attributed as candidate of a brown dwarf companion of the Sun. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the presentation, Dr. Yunita. There is one question here from Dr. Muhandis Siddiq, and the question is, beside parent Pluto Charon, is there any other example? Would you like to unmute, please?
Okay, thank you, Ibu Mutia. Thank you, Hans, for the question. Actually, what exactly really have result? Only Pluto Charon, because actually Charon itself has the division of Charon such as Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, or Styx orbits. That's the answer.
Okay. Mr. Muhandis Siddiq, do you have any other question? Are you there?
Not with the other satellite. The pairing is.
Oh, for the other satellite, until now, the observation that really give the exact result is not reached at that step.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Satisfied? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other question? Please raise your hand, or you may write the question in the chat box. My question: how to validate the model, Dr. Yunita?
Yeah, of course. First, after we get the model, we need to observe. And the problem now for us that we don't have the telescope that really can observe it directly to the objects. So we need to investigate the other ways to validate our models.
You have to find another way.
Yes.
Would you like to give an example?
Maybe first in Indonesia, the telescope like what I mean is Indonesia. Maybe we have to find our another colleagues in other countries to accompany with us.
Okay, you have to find
another laboratory,
another collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, to share data together. Okay. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Dr. Yunita.
Yeah, you are welcome.
My pleasure. Do you have any other question, participant? If there is no question, then we may continue to the following attendee. Thank you, Dr. Yunita. And the next one is Ferry Budi Sutstyo, ABS 146. The title is Deposition of Nickel Films on Polycrystalline Copper Alloy with various current densities from what solution?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ferry Budi Sutstyo. I'm a student in Department of Physics, University of Indonesia. And I'm also a lecturer in Department of Mechanical Engineering in University Negeri Jakarta. I went to a presentation about deposition of nickel film on the polycrystalline copper alloy with various current density from what solution. Electrodeposition is the cheapest, easy, eco-friendly method to produce single or multiple layer, which make it very suitable for industrial production. Commonly, electrodeposition of nickel use electrolyte solution. there is three research about electrodeposition. Yang Tao et al. Have electrodeposition nickel by using industrial electrolyte with different time deposition. It was found with the increase of deposition time, the adsorption atoms on the surface of the cathode and other deposition atoms are randomly encountered. Wang et al. Resulting different surface morphology, grain size, and the peak intensity of electrodeposited nickel graphene with various current density. Park et al. Was found the increase of the passive current density corresponding to increase the corrosion rate. The aim of the present work are electrodeposited nickel with different current density. Polycrystalline copper alloy was used as a substrate with three variations of current density. In the experimental, we use a copper alloy as substrate, and the substrate was filled with epoxy resin, and a single side of the substrate is open. And the substrate was grounded successfully by sandpaper with grade 500 until 3000, then cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner, rinsed by distilled wet water, and finally is dry. The electrodeposition process was carried out using DC power supply with wet solution. The anode is pure nickel sheet, and the distance between cathode and anode is maintained as about 80 millimeters. In the structure, we can see three major peaks: 111, 002, and 022. 022 plane is very weak density, and the density of the 022 plane is not influenced when the current while the current density is changed. Increase the current density is slightly influenced on 111 plane and doesn't influence 022 plane. The crystallographic parameters are based refined with high score with RWB and GOF below 9% and 2.6 respectively. The crystalline size of the nickel increase as the current density shifts to a higher value, which results from the evolution of more hydrogen at the cathode interface. Potential dynamic polarization, we can see the figure, and the figure is presented about the corrosion potential and active, passive, transpassive behavior of the sample. The corrosion potential is shifting to more to positive value and the current density increase. The nickel 25 sample has more positive corrosion potential than the other sample. The nickel 3 sample seems to have a different passive area and more shift to the left side than to other sample. The highest corrosion rate is seen on the nickel 25 sample, and the nickel 3 is the lowest corrosion rate. The lowest corrosion rate is corresponding to phenomena of the passive area. It has passive area more shift to the right side that is not owned by the other sample. We can see the cyclic voltammetry, reduction and oxidation. There is various distance between reduction and oxidation with 3 samples, and indicated there is irreversible electrochemical reaction because the distance between oxidation and reduction peaks more than 57 millivolts. We can see surface morphology with 3 samples. A typical pyramidal colony structure is shown. The pyramidal colony size change within and increase the current density. Change the current density to 10 milliamps per centimeter influence to the pyramidal colony grow rapidly, resulting in the highest grain size. The Ne 10 samples, nickel 10 samples, so a huge and homogeneity of pyramidal colony. Moreover, the pyramidal colony structure slightly decrease, affected by shifting the current density to 25 milliamps. The big pyramidal colony are surrounded with the small pyramidal colony, and the side of the pyramidal colony are smooth without crevice is shown in the nickel 25 sample. Conclusion of my project or my paper, there is exhibit 3 major peaks with cubic FCC crystal system and FM 3M space group. The crystalline size of the nickel film increase as the current density shift to a higher value. All the Ne layer display active passive transpassive behavior in 3.5% of sodium chloride when the potential dynamic polarization was performed. The highest corrosion rate is seen on the nickel 25 sample. Is probably due to larger crystalline size and smaller polarization resistance than others. Increase the current density has significant influence of the reduction peak of the nickel layer. As the current density increases, the peak decrease. The various samples are shown irreversible electrochemical reaction because of the distance between oxidation and reduction peak of more than 57. Thank you for attention.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ferry. Are you here, Dr. Ferry? Dr. Ferry?
Yes, I'm here. You, Mrs. Mutia Delina.
Thank
I'm
you.
still in. Sorry, I'm still in hospital now. Maybe many noise here.
Yes, no
Because,
problem. Yeah. Okay. Is there any question? Raise your hand, please. Dr. Esmar, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Bu Mutia. So my question is, what the application of your study result, especially on nickel coating? Because your research area is the same with me. I also investigate on the nickel composite coating. Maybe we can share what is your application, what is your sample for?
Okay, Dr. Esmar. I am a lecturer on the mechanical engineering and Universitas Negeri Jakarta. I think the application of the nickel plating is like automotive component, as we can see, like door handle of the door of the car. You may also use nickel plating and many others. I think like that. Maybe in the future, inshallah, we can make joint research.
Ya, insya Allah, Pak Ferry Budi. Thank you for your information.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay,
Dr.
thank you.
Esmar and Dr. Ferry. Is there any other question? No more question. Thank you, Dr. Ferry, and we may continue to the 9 participants, Dr. A.N. Pariana. And the title is Behavior of Microwave Absorption of oxide nanoparticles fabricated by sol gel method.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to present my paper about behavior of microwave absorption of bismuth-ferrite nanoparticle fabricated by sol gel method. My name is Antariana. I am from University of Indonesia. Now, we begin the presentation. Introduction. Multivariate BFO has attracted much attention because it is one of the several compounds that exhibit coexistence of ferroelectricity and ferromagnetism at room temperature. In bulk form, BFO has a rhombohedral distorted perovskite structure with a space group R3C. Both electric and magnetic dipoles are strong absorbers of microwaves. BFO has coexistence of electric and electromagnetic properties at room temperature has been widely explored as a novel type of microwave absorption material. In this paper, single-phase BFO nanoparticle were synthesized by using a sol gel method. We systematically investigate the path structure, morphology, magnetic properties, microwave absorbing behavior in X frequency for different thickness and effect of annealing. Experimental methods. Bismuth-ferrite nanoparticles were synthesized by sol gel method. In this method, bismuth nitrate, ferrite nitrate, citric acid, and nitric acid were used as precursor. First, bismuth nitrate was dissolved in 5 ml nitric acid at room temperature, and then iron nitrate and another precursor was added to do it. The solution was stirred magnetically on a hot plate at temperature 85 degrees Celsius for 3 hours. Subsequently, kept on oven at 150 degrees Celsius for 3 hours to obtain sol gel. It is followed by calcination at 450 degrees Celsius for 3 hours, followed by cooling down naturally in the furnace. Moreover, it was then sintered at 750 degrees Celsius in the butcher. The powder was annealed at 900 degrees Celsius for 3 hours to get a single phase BFO. The path structure of BFO nanoparticle was characterized by X-ray diffraction. Magnetic properties was tested by chromograph. Morphology and elemental composition were investigated by scanning electron microscope and energy dispersive spectroscopy. The dielectric constant was tested with LCR method. Then microwave absorbing behavior was measured by vector network analyzer in X-band frequency. Result and discussion. Figure 1a solves the X-addition of the BFO nanoparticle. It's clear that the BFO nanoparticles are highly crystallized after anneal at 900 degrees Celsius. This result indicated that the BFO nanoparticles have a rhombohedral stack. Rhombohedral structure with space group R3C as shown in figure 1b. The peak at 27.96 degrees of simple BFO powder at 750 degrees belong to BR2O2 compound in fig 2a, which that fig disappears after annealing at 900 degrees Celsius for 3 hours as presented in figure 2b. Figures Figures 3a and 3b present the typical second electron microscope image and energy dispersive spectroscopy spectrum, respectively, after annealing at 900 degrees Celsius. The average crystalline size of VFO is about 71 nanometers to 135 nanometers. The room temperature magnetic hysteresis loop up to a magnetic field 30 kilo-speed were measured for the VFO sample at center at 750 degrees Celsius and external at 900 Celsius, respectively, and so it as shown in Fig 4. The magnetization group does not saturate even at high magnetic fields, as it indicated the ferromagnetic nature. In this work, remnants decrease by annealing at 900 degrees Celsius, suggesting a weak ferromagnetic nature in room temperature. The magnetic saturation values were decreased by heat treatment from 750 degrees Celsius to 900 degrees Celsius. The magnetic saturation and remnants values decrease with increase in average grain size, which may be attributed to the surface effect in BFO nanoparticles. When particle size decrease, consequently decrease the number of magnetic saturation and remnant. BFO samples sintered at 750 degrees Celsius exhibit higher magnetization properties attributed to the secondary phase. By eliminating the second phase with the higher annealing temperature until 900 degrees Celsius, the magnetization properties decrease. Fig 5 presents the micro-absorbing behavior on the BFO nanoparticle for various thickness. The reflection loss value is found to minus 33.29 decibel for 2 mm thick sample, and the reflection loss could decrease with decrease in thickness. The maximum peak of reflection loss exhibit the negative shiftiness to lower frequency with increasing thickness. The highest reflection loss at minus 36.78 decibels at 10.78 GHz saw 99.74% for its electromagnetic absorption value for an external BFO sample at thickness 2 mm. Figure 6 shows the relative permittivity of BFO nanoparticle external at 900 degrees Celsius. It is found that the relative permittivity values decrease as frequency increase, while its dielectric constant at below frequency of 100 kHz is still higher, contributing to the increase the reflection loss values of BFO nanoparticles in our result, because reflection loss value is directly proportional to the relative permittivity values. Conclusion: the multivariate BFO, the multivariate bismuth ferrite nanoparticle with crystalline size and 71 nanometer to 135 nanometer have been successfully synthesized by the Sol-Gel method. Magnetic and dielectric measurements confirm the weak ferromagnetic and ferroelectric ordered in BFO particles. The BFO nanoparticle exhibit high reflection loss, which could be attributed to the good electromagnetic match and surface effect due to the size confinement effects. The reflection loss value of BFO nanoparticle was influenced by thickness and annealing effect as well. Thank you very much for your excellent attention, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dr. N. Taryana is here already, so you may ask questions to Dr. N. Taryana. Please raise your hand. Dr. S. Marbudi, please.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Mutia. So, Pak N, I would like to ask you about actually the effect of the annealing at the 900 degrees Celsius. What the significant effect to the sample properties? The treatment of the annealing at 900 degrees Celsius. Pak En?
Yes, can you hear my voice?
Oh yeah. What the significant effect of the annealing temperature at 900 degrees Celsius on your sample properties? Actually, what the significant effect?
Yes, the highest of reflection loss at minus 36.78 decibel under measurement frequency at 10.78 gigahertz. So 99.74% for electromagnetic absorption value for nail BFO sample at thickness to 2 millimeter. So I get highest reflection loss.
Yes. So your treatment impact on the highest reflection. Yeah.
Yes.
So based on the XRD data, what the effect of your treatment based on XRD data?
Moment please, I see the full paper. In 1900 degrees Celsius, I have more impurities in sambal.
Yeah.
So I get the single phase of bismuth ferrite.
Yeah.
Okay, so the treatment is not good for.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. S. Marbudi and Dr. N. Taryana.
Thank you very much.
Yes, your time is up. And the following candidate is Ahmad Rifai, ABS 179. The title is Application of the Split-Step Fourier Method in Investigating the Bright Solution in a Photoactive Crystal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about application of the split-step Fourier method in investigating a bright solution in a photoactive crystal. But firstly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Rifai. I'm a student at Analis University. My promoter, Dr. Zulfi and Dr. Marika Satwan from the Analis University, and Dr. Wahyu Hidayat from the Institute of Technology Bandung. In this section, we listen about introduction, formulation, result, and discussion, and then conclusion. First, introduction. Silicon are solitary web, often refers to as nonlinear webs, which are envelopes or single web packet or fluids that can maintain their stability when propagating at a constant velocity in a medium. Based on historical perspective cited by Kasman, the term of silicon was used initially to refer to the phenomenon of a stable, isolated water web spreading in an unchanging shape along a narrow channel or canal. In the last few decades, silicons were investigated and developed in the field of optics by the great work of Xiao et al. And Saharov and Salber. They discovered a unique solution like silicon of wave propagation equation in nonlinear optical medium. Now, optical silicon is known in two categories, namely temporal silicon and spatial silicon. Focus of our discussion is to investigate the spatial silicon. The uniqueness of spatial silicon is indeed to be difficult to realize. That is because first, changing the nonlinear nature of an optical medium occurs on a relatively mixed scale with the intensity of optical beam. Second, spatial silicon cannot be stable in the three-dimensional system. In the three-dimensional system, spatial silicon has known this too, but now solution that has been found. That solution is three mechanisms in nonlinear optics. First, nonlinear photoelectric. Second, nonlinear quadratic. And the third, the vicinity of an electronic resonance in atom or molecule. Focus of our research to investigate the spatial silicon in a photographic media. Sanders et al. Has become pioneer to study the spatial silicon in photographic media. After that, Dure et al. Confirmed the study. In 1996, Persegal et al. Investigate the temporal behavior of spatial silicon in photographic media. So, a time-dependent model of silicon dynamic equation. In their analysis, Persegias assumed for the answer function to solve the equation. That is 2019. Investigate the temporal behavior of the bright silicon in photographic crystal having both linear and quadratic electropic effect. So, a time-dependent model of bright silicon dynamic equation. And so assume the answer function to solve the equation. So we know the type of medium in the form of photoelectric crystal that have electro-optical effect both linear and quadratic, and the type of spatial silicon used is bright and dark silicon. In here, we have not the spatial silicon research on photoelectric media still need to be developed and reviewed, especially in the case of solving the silicon dynamic equation, which is still asymptotic. In our research, we made innovation is new alternative approach by a numerical method to investigate the bright silicon for PMM photoelectric crystal without answer simplification, but direct numeric. In our research, we take the numerical step method because we know the method accurate, powerful, and simple algorithm. For the fiscal parameter, we investigate by FOHM analysis. Next, objectives and benefits. The objective of our research to apply the numerical split stepwise method to the silicon dynamic equation time dependent and to analyze temporal behavior of the black silicon in airplane and photoreactive crystal. This research we hope to be useful as a reference for subsequent research or similar topic or as a means to increase the treasury of knowledge. Next, scope and limitation. Limited to the application of the numerical split stepwise method and scope, construction of the equation model, solving the equation, compilation of algorithm, and display of numerical solution. For the fiscal parameter value of crystal refers to Kaki research in 2019. Next, mathematical and numerical formulation. In our research, this is the mathematical model used by the numerical split stepwise method. We found the solution. After that, we make research and discussion. This is the black silicon profile in crystal photoreactive. Black silicon in photoreactive crystal and we now undergo evolution its time before achieving stability. We suggest that is because electro-optical effect and diffraction disorder. And black silicon in this crystal we known in a steady state with the ratio of optical beam is low. The statement we from the mathematical formulation of the black silicon dynamic equation. In our research, we also investigate the silicon width by FOHM analysis. FOHM is an expression to the extent of function. From the operation tau, the curve confirms the existence of black silicon equation in photoreactive crystal. We suggest that is because photoreactive effect indirect to respond to diffraction in crystal. And then photoreactive crystal has a response time in the curve. In this curve, we know until time tau equal to the developed silicon. Finally, we also investigate electro-optical effect. The line blue present the linear electro-optical effect coefficient dominates, and the other line present quadratic electro-optical effect coefficient dominates. From the curve, the silicon with no closures is more dominated by the quadratic electro-optical effect, and the quadratic electro-optical effect we know influence the stability of black silicon more than the linear effect. Qualitatively, the result of the numerical calculation of time are the same as what is research in 2019. Conclusion. So we make conclusion the numerical split stepwise method has been successfully applied. Qualitatively, the result of numerical calculation confirms the result of practice equation. Black silicon evolves every time. Photoreactive crystal have a response time. Linear and quadratic electrolytic effect influence the stability of black silicon, And finally, the electoral optical and photoelectric effect is more dominant. This work was financially supported by a research grant from the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Universitas Andalas. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The voice mute, Dr.
Okay.
Mutia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Dr. Ahmad Rifai. My question, sorry, do you have any question? Anyone? No question? Okay. Dr. Esmal, do you like to ask
Yeah.
question? Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you to Dr. Mutia. So my question is about what condition that your model can be applied, and is it how the validation of your model on the Soliton?
Dr. Ahmad Rifai, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. In my research, I have a Gaussian function to can you hear my voice?
Yeah, yeah, I hear your voice.
In my research, I have I make a Gaussian function to support the Soliton solution for the model of equation, and so
Is there any limitation on your model, based on your model?
yes. Can you try the question?
Yeah.
Is there any limitation with the model? The negative side?
Yeah, the weakness or?
Like, you may ask, answer the question in Bahasa if you like.
Oke. Batasan apa? Batasan. Oke. Bisa diulang.
Ya, ya mungkin ada batasan atau mungkin ada batasan sampai di mana model yang Bapak pakai itu bisa menghasilkan hasil yang optimum. Ada batasannya atau apa sih sebetulnya kekuatan dari model yang Bapak sampaikan ini?
Oke. Kalau kekuatan dari kami sebenarnya mengaplikasikan sebuah metode numerik ke sebuah persamaan dinamika soliton dalam kristal fotorefraksi. Kristal fotorefraksi di sini untuk aplikasi soliton di sini sebagai memperlancar telekomunikasi optik yang saat ini menggunakan fiber optik. Nah, di kondisi di fiber optik sekarang masih sering mengalami atenuasi. Jadi kristal fotorefraktif di sini untuk sebagai salah satu alternatif untuk memperbaiki jaringan telekomunikasi, dan diperlukan jaringan yang stabil seperti sebuah soliton. Jadi model kami di sini sebatas mengaplikasikan metode numerik ke sebuah persamaan dinamika soliton dalam kristal fotorefraksi. Kami menggunakan metode split step Fourier sebagai metode untuk menyelesaikan persamaan tersebut untuk memanggil soliton dalam sebuah kristal. Metode ini kami pilih karena akurat. Untuk memanggil soliton dalam kristal melalui metode ini, kami menggunakan sebuah asumsi bentuk ansat yaitu untuk semacam pulsa kondisi awal untuk memanggil soliton tersebut. Seperti itu yang.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your explanation.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Repai. And
Yes.
your time is up. We should continue to the other participants. Number 11, ABS 212, Dr. Mangasi Alian Marpaung. The title is Application of Laser-Induced Plasma Spectroscopy to Detect the Contaminant in Food. The time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to present my research work about application of laser-induced plasma spectroscopy to detect contaminant in foods. My name is Mangasi Alion Marpaung and my friend Ervan Andoko Marincan Pardede. I am from Physics Department, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Jakarta State University, Indonesia. Introduction. All people, of course, want that his life healthy. For healthy life, need healthy food. In healthy food must contain nutrients needed by body's organ. Also must free from contaminant that can damage the body's organ. One type of food product that is favored by many Indonesian people is meatball food. Because the level of competition between traders is quite high, there are some traders who cheat by mixing food preservatives such as borax to increase food resistance to time. The use of borax as an additive in food has been prohibited by law in various countries, including Indonesia. Exposure to borax, even if only a little in sensitive people, will cause a series of symptoms such as headache, fever, nausea, diarrhea, and bleeding in the intestine or stomach. Based on this, monitoring tools are needed to determine whether a food product is borax contaminated. In this work, we use the laser-induced plasma spectroscopy, or LIPS, to detect borax contaminant in meatball food. LIPS is an atomic emission spectroscopy, so the LIPS is elemental analysis. The experimental setup used in this experiment is like this. The laser pulse is focused to the sample of the surface and produce plasma. The emission of plasma is sent to the fiber optic, and the fiber optic collected and sent to the spectrograph. The spectrograph is also attached with gated OMA, and the gated OMA is controlled by the computer. The spectrum produced in this experiment is displayed in the computer monitor and can be printed and saved. In this experiment, we use the ENDIAC laser, third harmonic ENDIAC laser by spectra physics. The lens is quartz lens and the window is quartz windows. Spectrometer is Cerny-Turner spectrograph with gated OMA. The chamber is metal with the dimension 11 cross 11 cross 12.5 cubic centimeter. The sample used in this experiment is not really the meatball sample ready for consume, but we use the main material of meatball food, its flour, mixed with borax that contain 1%, 3%, 5%, 7%, and 10% of boron weight, and then make pellet. We don't use the meatballs food for it with ready for consume because still wet and it is difficult to attach to the sample holder. The sample holder is connected to the rotating motor, so the sample always rotate. It means that the laser interaction between the sample is always new. The result of the experiment is like that. This is the spectrum recorded from the 5 different sample. This one for 1% of boron concentration, and this one for 3% of boron concentration, this for 5%, this for 7%, this for 10%. At all from this spectrum, we can see clearly that the emission line of the boron is very sharp. We use the boron emission line as an indicator that the borax can be detected by this from this experiment. This is the emission of boron, and this is the emission of carbon from the floor material. And boron, of course, come from the borax in the sample. Also, we can see if the concentration of boron increase, also the intensity of the boron emission increase. The same take place for 5%, 7%, and 10%. The spectrum is taken by using 21 millijoule of laser energy and taken at 10 torr of air surrounding at the chamber. The gated delay and gated width of OMA system is fixed at 1 microsecond and 30 microsecond respectively. From this spectrum, we want to see how the relation between the emission intensity of boron with its concentration, and the result is like that. The linear relation between the intensity of emission to its concentration of boron is obtained. Linear curve means that the linear calibration curve. It means that the quantitative analysis can be obtained from this experiment for borax detection. Also, by using the 10% of the spectrum of boron concentration, we used to calculate the limit of detection of boron by use the criterion that the minimum intensity of the line emission is three times higher than the noise. By using this criterion, we calculated that the limit detection in this experiment, we obtained 105 ppm for boron emission. From this experiment, we can conclude that 1. This experimental study has demonstrated the favorable application of LIPS to practical spectrochemical analysis of borax contaminant in meatball food. Second, the linear calibration curve is obtained with 105 ppm limit of detection. Third, the result also shows to exhibit well-resolved sharp emission line of the element contained in the sample, which shows that this LIPS method have a potential application to the elemental analysis of any sample qualitatively and quantitatively. That's all of my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mangasi Alion Marpau, and Dr. Mangasi is here. Is there any question? There is a question from Dr. Muhandis. Would you like to deliver your question, please? Dr. Muhandis.
Oh, yeah. You said that the sample is not really an actual meatball. So it is only floor with borax. So there will be a different matrix effect, right? If we use actual meatballs, so how do you account for that kind of thing?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Siddiq. Yeah, of course there is an effect, but in this experiment, only want to see that our method can be detect the borax by use the boron line. So from this experiment, we can see that the boron is very sharp line can be detected. Also, by our experiment shows that in the case of the another sample, that really a sample contain the like meatball can be detected. But in this experiment, we want to see that the quantitative analysis can be done by our method. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mangasi. Dr. Muhandis, do you have any other question? Is it clear enough?
I think that's enough.
Okay, thank you. Any other question, participants? Okay, I have one question for you. What is the superior and the weakness of your apparatus compared to the previous one? I think there is another apparatus prior, and what is your superior from that one?
Okay, the superior one is the result of the experiment is real time. So
We just got the result at that time when we do the test. Okay.
Because when we record the spectrum, we also can read the line at the time. So it's very simple. And so not so difficult the sample preparation. Only to mix the borax and the food, so we make the pellet. And it is the simple preparation of sample in this method.
We cannot just do directly, just put the meatball on your apparatus and then show that. We have to,
from now we develop the method by using the substrate of the sample. So now we develop the new method, so the beam come from the upper side, not from the side. So the sample can be put in the sample holder. When we irradiate by laser from the upper side, no problem to the sample. Maybe this method we must develop in the next time.
Okay, I need more experience to do that. Yes, thank you, Dr. Mangasi Alian Marpaung. Your time is up. And
thank you.
Yes, have a nice day. And next one is Dr. Muhandis Siddiq, ABS 234 with title Detecting Ferrite Pesticide Residues in Cocoa Products Using Laser-Induced Breakdown Spectroscopy. Please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. I'm Muhandis Siddiq from Research Center for Physics, Indonesian Institute of Sciences. Today, I will present our research entitled Detecting Pyrethroid Pesticide Residues in Cocoa Products Using Laser-Induced Breakdown Spectroscopy. Nowadays, food safety control is usually done by chemical testing. It is usually done by chromatography method. This chemical method needs extensive preparation and usually it takes a long time to be carried out. So we need other alternative techniques for food safety. One of those techniques is laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy, or LIBS. LIBS has potential to be used for food safety testing considering its distinct features such as inherent rapidity and simple sample preparation method. So we investigate the use of laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy to detect contamination of pesticide residues, especially pyrethroid insecticides in cocoa products. Examples of pyrethroid is bifenthrin, deltamethrin, and cypermethrin. As you can see from chemical formula here, pyrethroid has halogens that do not exist in cocoa products. Examples of halogens are chloride, fluoride, bromide. So pesticide residues can be measured through the existence of halogen lines in the LIBS spectrum. So here the diagram of LIBS technique. So high energy laser pulses focus on the target sample or target material, and when the high energy laser pulse hit the target material, it creates a plasma that emitted radiation. The radiation emission is captured by spectrometer, and a spectrum is obtained here. So we use a sample of cocoa products in the form of pellet here, and this picture shows the plasma radiation of the samples here, and here it is the spectrum for the cocoa products. It's from 835 to 840 nanometers of wavelength. So here we compare the sample with and without spermatrin. The sample without spermatrin shows a flat spectrum here. However, the sample with spermatrin, here is 3% spermatrin, shows a peak at 837.6 nanometer. This is the line of chloride 1. So it can be deduced that we can detect the existence of spermatrin by using this chloride line. And this is the graph intensity of the peak versus the concentration of the pesticide of spermatrin. As you can see, when the concentration increase, the intensity also increases. And here the detection, the lowest concentration is around 1%. So to conclude, we demonstrate that we can detect spermatrin by observing chlorine spectral line at 837.6 nanometer using LIBS, and the amount of spermatrin that can be detected using this method is as low as 1%. We acknowledge Indonesian Research and Technology Ministry for the funding through National Research Incentive 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhandis Siddiq. And now let's go to the live discussion. Is there any question? Yes, Dr. Mangasi Alion.
Okay, yes. To Mr. Muhammad Siddiq. In the experiment, what kind of laser you use? Because I see your result is very good, the linear calibration curves. And what condition when you do the experiment?
It's 1064 nanometer laser, and
YAG laser?
It's 1064 nanometer laser. Fundamental harmonic. This is the more fundamental harmonic, and it's I think it's a 5 torr. The pressure is 5 torr.
Air or
air?
Air.
Yeah.
Oh, it's surprising. The result is very linear, and also we see the result is intersect the 0 point. Is the quantitative analysis very good?
I mean, it's not. We are not sure if it is a 0 point or not. It's well, maybe yeah. It's more or less maybe. I'm not sure about it. I think it's. Let me see. Yeah, it's almost, but not
Almost, yes.
really. Yeah, to the origin. I think it's because it's still in the preliminary result because we just what is it? We just spike the sample with supermetrin, and it's still the what is it? The concentration is still really high compared to the like standard in the real situation.
Real situation. Okay, it's no problem. It's good because your group Sulianti is my friend in the
Yeah, we
Majma'ul
know.
Mandiri Research Center. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mangasi and Dr. Muhandis. Okay, your time is up. Let's continue to the last participant, Dr. Esmar Budi, ABS 100. Sorry. Okay. 260, and the title is the effect of elevated temperature on nickel. Sorry, I cannot spell it. Composite coating in electrodeposition processes. Okay, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like thanks to SMICS committee for the opportunity to me to present our study result. The title is the effect of elevated temperature on nickel nitride composite coating in electrodeposition process. My name is Esmar Budi from Physics and Physics Education Department, Faculty of Mathematics and Science, Universitas Negeri Jakarta. The outline of the presentation of introduction, method, result, and discussion and conclusion. The composite, as well as the other material types such as polymer and ceramic, has potential to substitute the metal application, and the need of the composite increased since 60s until now. And in the application, composite was used in form of thin coating or film, and many methods to develop the thin film or thin coating, and one of the methods is the electrodeposition process. There are many parameters in the electrodeposition process that includes the coating. However, one of them, such as electrodeposition temperature, is a significant parameter in influencing the composition and the microstructure of the composite coating. In this study, electrodeposition was employed to deposit nickel nitride composite coating at fixed current density of 2.5 milliampere per centimeter square for about 15 minutes. And the electrodeposition temperature was used at 50 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius. The tungsten carbide bar was used as the working electrode or substrate, while platinum wire and silver chloride wire was used as the counter electrode and reference electrode respectively. The coating properties was analyzed by using scanning electron microscopy and energy dispersive spectroscopy. From the result, it showed the coating morphology of the sample deposit at 60 degrees Celsius is finer than that of 50 degrees Celsius. It was indicated that the temperature was the significant parameter on the coating morphology. In this study, it was suggested that nitrate particles such as in terms of the titanium nitrate, aluminum nitrate, and silicon nitrate particle was incorporated into the composite at 60 degrees Celsius, effectively hindered the nickel crystal growth. And from the composition analysis by using EBS, it was observed that the content percent of the nickel reduced as the temperature was increased, while other metal particles such as titanium, aluminum, and silicon content increased as the temperature was increased. So generally, at the elevated temperature, the decrease of nickel content of the composite resulted the formation of nickel grade refining. So the conclusion of this study that the analysis of the elevated temperature and morphology of the composition of nickel nitrate composite coating was conducted. The surface morphology and the composite coating was finer at electrolysis temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. The finer morphology was due to the decrease of nickel content, while titanium, aluminum, and silicon content was increased. It was suggested that nitrate nucleation, especially aluminum nitrate nucleation, effectively inhibited nickel deposition. Acknowledgements in the study to UNJ and also respectively for the research fund. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Esmar Budi. Okay, let's go to the discussion. Is there any question for Dr. Esmar Budi, audience? No question? Okay, what is the application of your research?
Yeah, my application, the application of this research is to improve the coating properties on the cutting tool. So our research is to develop a thin coating on the cutting tool. So we try to improve the cutting performance during the machining process. Yeah, we study on the drill bit and then we develop the thin coating by using the electrodeposition, since the method is simple, easy, and high rate production. And also the nickel nitrate composite coating has potential to reach hardness, a very hard hardness. So it is suitable to machining application or tribology application. That's the focus of this research.
Thank you for your answer. Is there any other question? Audience? Okay, if you have no question, then this is the end of our parallel session.
Yeah, thank you.
No, please do not leave before we leave the room. We have to take a picture together first. Okay,
Yeah.
Please activate your camera, and I will take a zoom. Mr. Muhandis Rizdik, Dr. Ia, Dr. Ahmad Rifai, Dr. EN, Dr. Sofian, Dr. Agung. Okay, Dr. Ahmad Rifai, Dr. Sofian, and Dr. Agung, are you there? And Dr. Renanto. Okay, let's take a picture. Give your big smile for us for SMIC 2020. I will count it down. 1, 2, 3, take a picture. Cheese. Okay, and before we close this session, I would like to ask your testimonial from Dr. Esmar Budi, please.
Yeah, testimonial for this seminar, SMIC?
Yes, please.
Yes. My testimony for this seminar is very excellent. Even in this situation, we know that this pandemic situation, but all the participant and also all the committee is very heavy and very can handle all the seminar during the seminar process. Yeah,
Okay.
good, success, excellent. So
Thank you.
I always give the comment on the attendance. Excellent.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Esmar Budi. Would you like to raise your hand?
Also, Bu Mutia, good
Yeah.
success for you as the chief of the SMIC.
Thank you very much. It's
Yeah.
quite coincident actually. Okay. Any other? Would you like to raise your hand to give us a testimonial? Okay, please, Dr. Eleonora.
Okay, I want to say thank you for the organizing committee, especially you, Dr. Mutia, and I always write on my comment is amazing. Only one
Thank you.
this seminar.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Eleonora. Any other? Dr. Muhandis? Pak Jaya, you just coming?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ibu Dr. Mutia. I'm sorry I'm late to join this meeting because I have trouble something in the communication.
Okay, no
Yes,
problem.
yes, yes. I have the presentations for my paper, mechanical response, but maybe I coming late. Sorry, very sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. We note your attendance. Thank you. Is any other testimonial before we close it? No? Okay, thank you. And I would like to give you a video of closing SMIC 2020. Please enjoy the video.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear participants, this is the end of our conference programs. Please assign your attendee, therefore we can send the souvenir to your address. The certificate of participation is available in your SMIC account only if you present in the conference. We have also choose the best presenter from each field. We will announce the best presenter name in our website on August 10, 2020. From Santika Hotel Kelapa Gading, Jakarta, thank you for your participation and see you in the third Science and Mathematics International Conference 2022. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
SMIC 2020!
Dari The Honorable ya berarti? Iya. Diem aja.
Friends, lupa.